This video is brought to you by Squarespace. If you need a website or domain, go to squarespace.com. Whether it's birds in flight, sports, or anything else that moves fast, photographing fast-moving subjects can be one of the most thrilling and frustrating things in photography. Today, I'll walk you through exactly how to shoot fast action with confidence, clarity, and fewer missed shots. I'll even give you settings recommendations for different genres, depending on what you shoot. If you stay till the end, I'll show you my bonus tip, an easy trick that all pros use to get your autofocus locking on faster and more accurately than ever. My name is Simon D'Entremont and I'm a professional nature and wildlife photographer living in Eastern Canada. I make weekly videos giving you photo tips or taking you behind the scenes for nature photography. Subscribe if you want to see more. Okay, let's look at fast-moving subjects and why photographing them is such a problem in the first place. 1. Moving subjects are moving across your field of view, and the closer they are, or the more focal length you have for more magnification, the worse it gets. The lenses for action often involves using long lenses, so we're making this problem worse right off the bat. 2nd, as your subject moves around, the plane of focus moves, so the position of your focus needs to change too. And 3, the whole camera and lens setup is in motion, so needs to be done well to get your results you want. So let's get into each of these issues and figure out our best approach. First, let's talk about settings. You can't shoot fast action consistently in full automatic mode and hope to get great results every time. While I'm not averse to using auto for basic photography scenarios, for action, you need more control. For action, shutter speed is king. How much depends on the speed of your subject, with the slowest action needing maybe 1/500th of a second, and the fastest at the extreme end, 1/5000th. For slower action like a kid slowly going by on a bike, wildlife that's walking, or a car slowly driving by, as little as 1/500th or 1/640th of a second will often do. For amateur sports, wildlife at a slow run, or motorsports on a predictable track, 1/800th to 1/1000th is enough. 1/1600th or 1/2000th is enough for most things. Pro sports, many flying birds like geese, and pro motorsports. 1/3200th may be needed to freeze the movement of balls in sports and the faster flying birds like puffins. And finally, 1/4000th or 1/5000th to freeze the wings of a hummingbird. A couple of notes on shutter speeds. First, you should shoot at least these shutter speeds, but often you can use more. The penalty of using more is capturing less light on your sensor and having a higher ISO. So if the light is very generous, like during the bright sunlit day, you can often add more than this. Smaller sensors in effect magnify the image in the field of view, so need more shutter speeds. So multiply by 1.5 times for APS-C sensors, 2 times for micro four thirds. So 1/500th shutter speed on a full frame camera is 1/1000th on a micro four thirds. Also note that some of these shutter speeds aren't really attainable in dark places like indoor gyms without introducing lots of noise. So get as fast as you can to these until the noise gets problematic, then use that shutter speed. All of your photos won't be TACK-SHARP if you're using less than these shutter speeds, but maybe some of them can. Like these wildlife photos of mine in low light. Not all sharp, but a few are, and that's all I needed. The next critical variable in settings is the focus mode. Switch to AI Servo on a Canon or AFC on Nikon, Sony, and most other brands. This tells your camera to continuously track a moving subject, not lock on to one spot. Use subject detection or eye tracking on a mirrorless camera, using the whole sensor if possible. But on a DSLR, use multiple focus points rather than one focus point to improve the odds of getting a focus point on your subject. In a busy scene though, maybe the center 9 points, for example, is better than all of them available to reduce the odds of something else other than your subject getting captured. Also set your camera to high-speed burst mode to try to take as many photos as possible per second. This improves the odds of capturing just the right moment. As for aperture and ISO, a wider aperture like f2.8 to f5.6 helps you gather light and keep that shutter speed fast. Most lenses will be sharper with the aperture a bit smaller than the maximum, so maybe shoot that f4 lens at f5.6 or that f5.6 lens at f8 if sharpness is critical. Don't be afraid to raise your ISO. ISO 1600 to 3200 with a sharp photo is better than ISO 400 with a blurry one. As for what mode to shoot in, control of both aperture and shutter speeds really helps, especially shutter speed. So shooting in shutter priority, which is TV or full manual, or manual with auto ISO are good choices as you control the shutter speed in all of those modes. I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video, Squarespace. If you haven't heard of Squarespace, they're an all-in-one website platform that helps you create your website from scratch, just like I did. You don't need any coding experience or even to be tech savvy. They have lots of templates to choose from to make it easy to get your own website up and running in no time. But even though they have great templates like the ones for photography that I might use, for example, the place to go now is to use their new Design Intelligence feature, using both Squarespace's experience and cutting-edge AI, helping you to tailor your own website to your own specific needs. It can even help you write text or describe your business or products. It looks really professional to have online galleries and your own domain, and a website is also a great way to monetize your work by setting up an online store using Squarespace payments, which you can set up with just a few clicks. You can even do buy now and pay later with options like Afterpay. Go to squarespace.com to sign up for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Simon for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Now let's look at gear tips for fast action. You don't actually need the most expensive gear, but some things really help, as shooting action will push the boundaries of your gear to its limits. If you're looking for a new camera or have the choice of which one to take along from more than one at home, look for a camera with a fast autofocus, good subject tracking, and a decent burst speed. Mirrorless cameras with subject detection are really good for helping lock on to those moving targets. Most people shoot action with long lenses, but you can even use a 24-105 or 70-200mm, for example, for lots of genres where maybe you can control the distance to your subject, like some sports like skateboarders. For longer distances and wildlife, good zooms like 100-500 or 100-400 or 200-500 are great choices. A quick tip: fast SD memory cards like a UHS 2 cards or CF Express cards are essential if you're doing burst shooting. Otherwise, you'll hit that dreaded buffer wall where your camera will lag writing photos to the card. Now we need to look at technique. Settings and gear will only take you so far, so here's where the skill comes in. The best action shooters aren't reacting, they're predicting. Learn to read your subject's behavior. Birds give signs before taking off, and athletes will telegraph their moves. These allow you to frame the shot before the action and make sure that the shutter speed is up. Don't forget to frame your photo so that if the subject moves quickly or that bird takes off, you leave them room to move into. Tracking smoothly is also important. Keep your elbows tucked in against your chest for stability. No elbows sticking out. Use your whole body to track, not just your arms. This keeps your camera motion very fluid. And don't use the back LCE technique for fast action. Panning smoothly is much better if you place your eyebrow firmly against the eye cup and pan with your upper body, not moving your arms. Also, don't always center your subject in the frame. As you're tracking, think about composition. Leave space in the direction of movement in front of your subject for better compositions. Like for birds, leave room for them to fly into. Being prepared and aware is a big part of getting action photography done well. It's a mental game. You'll miss shots. Everyone does, I do, but the pros aren't faster. They're better at predicting and preparing. Take time to observe before shooting. Where are the subjects entering the scene? Which direction are they most likely to travel to? For that last one, set up your feet so you can swivel as far as your subjects go. If your subject is coming from the right and you place your feet for that direction shot, you may run out of swivel room in a long panning sequence. The more predictable the movement, the more you can zoom in tightly on the subject, but the more random the movement, the more you zoom out to allow more erratic movement within the field of view. If you're too zoomed in, you wind up losing the subject when it changes direction quickly, like these shots of mine in Botswana. So here's a challenge. Go out and photograph something fast. Could be your dog, a local sports game, or birds at the park. Post them and tag me on Instagram or Facebook, or leave a comment with your best shot. I'd love to see what you get. And I promised you a tip, one that all professional action photographers use. To improve the precision and speed of your autofocus, you should pre-focus. That is, point at an object that's close to where you want to get focus or you expect focus to happen on your subject, like a tree, a clump of grass, a road cone, and focus on that spot. Then don't hit the shutter or back button, whichever you use for focus, and wait for your subject to appear. Then point at your subject and hit the shutter button or the back button. Since you've pre-focused on that spot, the camera will have a much easier time finding your target, and the distance the lens focal plane needs to move will be less, speeding up acquisition and accuracy of your focus. If you like this video, hit like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell for more photography tips like this one. See you in the next one, and remember, it's not about perfection, it's about practice. I hope you can use these tips the next time you go to get your own unique and amazing action photos. I know you can do it.